Welcome to the Open Books Podcast, where we discuss all things going on in the real estate industry, helping you take the road less traveled to real estate success, guiding you to the top 10%. I'm your co-host, Curtis Haddock, alongside Casey Tudor, Brooke Massey, and our special guest, Jasleen. I don't know how to say your last name. How do you say your last name, Jasleen? I always do this. I should have always asked before we do the introductions.
Kaur.
Yeah. I would have said like Kaur or something like that.
K-A-U-R. Because I'm like...
Well, because I don't want to butcher it.
No, she had to think about it.
Yeah.
You asked me what last name was, and she
yeah, because I'm like, I don't know. I guess.
She's like, it's Kaur. You pronounce it like Kaur.
I don't know.
But it's spelled K-A-U-R, which...
Yeah, because it sounds different in English than in my language. So that sounds
what
like...
is it in your language?
Your language. That's what I was thinking.
Well, it's the same, but I don't know.
Well, then don't say it's different if it's the same.
It's one of those.
It's different, but the same.
Makes total sense.
Now you have to say it.
Now you have to for our audience.
So it's like car. I mean, that sounds the same, right?
It sure
No, it
does.
sounded like card.
No, it sounded like car.
Okay,
right?
just
okay, let's do this. Let's play this game. Say it in English.
Car.
Now say it in your language.
Car. There you go. It's just the K.
Different.
This is K is pronounced differently.
Let's talk about a truly difficult last name. Tudor.
Yeah. Hold on. I think in the future I would just tell people. I wouldn't tell people it's different.
Okay.
And just save yourself some time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Tudor. Yeah, that's a tough one. Very tough.
It doesn't
one.
make sense.
Yeah, because it's like
it was French. It may be French.
In your language.
It isn't anymore. Who knows?
In your language, it's Tutter.
Did you get made fun of as a kid?
I mean, every day.
I meant just specifically because of your last name.
Like, well, you realize roll call is every day, right?
I was going to say like substitute teacher day. Not every day, like when you had, because I got made fun of at roll call, and it was only substitute. First day of school and then substitute teacher day, really. I
remember when Theo came to me the first time and told me that kids laughed when.
Did you feel bad?
Yeah, I was like, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's just one of those things. Like, I remember how I felt about it, but then now it's like, I'm like, dude, just laugh with them because it is funny.
Whenever I remember when I first,
who cares?
Yeah,
it's interesting. Like. From a kid's perspective to when you mature, because like when I first met you and you told me your name was Casey Tudor, like it didn't even cross my mind.
Oh, it didn't?
No.
I thought you were going to say that's the first thing I thought about.
No, it didn't even cross my mind. In fact, it wasn't until you talked about how people made fun of you and I was like, oh yeah, I can see that. I can see why.
I used to get made fun of for a lot of reasons, and now I don't take it from nobody.
Well,
I mean, I had to grow thick skin.
There you go.
Well,
which real estate's definitely helped me with that.
Oh yeah.
So
especially with
speaking of emotions, Jasleen, what are we talking about today?
Today we're going to talk about 5 emotional stages every entrepreneur experiences.
Oh, sounds like a roller coaster.
Every entrepreneur. And
hey, that's a book.
This is a good one because you're kind of going through some of this, right?
Yes.
What stage would you say you're at? Don't say the stage. What number is of the 5 stages where you at? So
I'm through stage 1.
You're through stage 1, and you're in stage 2.
Stage 2, about to step in 3.
Okay, so now our audience has to listen to figure out what do those numbers mean.
Stay tuned. I can see the.
What stage do you guys think you're at?
All of them.
It depends on what time it is, what day it is, and what contracts I have under contract.
It kind of does, yeah. I mean, because it's like between 3 and 4, like
I would say
consistently.
I would say I'm in like between 3 and 4 right now.
Yeah.
I'm in stage 1 right now. And I'm trying to stay on that high.
Well, good for you. Someone's got to be there.
I know.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm
just
going to
stay
be
there.
that positive, optimistic one here.
Okay, Jasleen, what's stage 1?
What's stage 1? And just stay
Stage
there.
1 is excitement and optimism.
Love it.
Oh, yeah. We all go through that. And you're like, man, I am tired of my job. And you think of something you can do to be in business for yourself. And you finally think of what that is. And you just get excited.
And then you get your real estate license. And then you order your business cards.
And then you don't do anything.
Yeah.
Because that is exciting, man. Setting your LLC up like, man, everything is about to change for me.
Because you feel official. You feel like you're doing stuff.
Yeah. Jasleen, how was that stage for you?
I was excited, honestly. I was like, oh my gosh, like, whoa, big world.
Yeah.
Finally stepping in real world,
Yeah, this is a good one because because we have, almost 190 agents, and of course we've recruited way more than that over time. And you always see that. Well, most of the time you see that in an agent, and then you're kind of waiting for that high to go away to see what they'll actually do.
Like, how are they going to be when what's the word I'm looking for? I'm thinking like when we're realistic.
Yeah, when it wears off.
When it wears off, and it's like it gets real now. It's like, who are they when it finally hits them in the face? Like, this is what it is.
All the actual challenges and the bad day
when
it's not so fun.
There was a quote that I've been telling people this week because I just heard it last week. In church, of all places. It's a quote from Mike Tyson.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, and the quote was, everybody has a plan until you get punched in the face. And I thought, man, that applies to like everything that we do. Like, whether you're in business for yourself, you could just be going down a career path, and as soon as you get punched in the face or something difficult happens, for some reason we naturally start thinking the grass is greener doing something else.
Yeah.
And we immediately start looking for another job or another company or just another career.
We're searching for this stage one again.
We're searching for stage one again.
Excitement and optimism. It makes you feel good.
Yes.
It's always about like how you want to make yourself feel.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. It's we want to be comfortable. We want to be content. We want to be. We don't like to be challenged.
Yeah.
And we don't like change. We don't like when things are difficult. And as soon as we are faced with that, you find out real quickly if the path you're on is the one for you.
Yeah. And you can't be excited all the time. It's impossible. People are always searching for happiness, but it's like it exists, but you have to create it. But just because it's there doesn't mean it's always going to be there, because you're going to have tough times. But I had speaking about Mike Tyson, I have a buddy of mine that used to do the bare knuckle fighting here in Oklahoma City. He's older, but he had never lost a fight, and he would just wipe people up and down. And then one time, he's probably like 6'2", 6'3". He has a guy my size in the ring.
I'd crush him then.
And so he had a guy my size come in, and he's sitting at the ring, and he's like, I'm gonna just wipe this guy across the ring. And he said, as soon as that bell rung, next thing you know, this guy climbs up him and just starts pummeling him in the face. And next thing you know, he wakes up on the ground because he knocked him out. And he didn't stand a chance against this little dude.
Yeah, so his plan just went to crap.
Yeah. Well, he was just gonna do his thing.
Yeah.
It didn't work.
Did not work. I was thinking about when we were talking about this with business, like it's even kind of like that with relationships,
It's everything.
We get super excited and optimistic, and then, all of a sudden you have your first fight, or, you see something and you're like, ooh, I don't know if I like that in that person, or you just get to know them on a deeper level. And so often I feel like that's why divorce rate is high. That's why people are going from relationship to relationship, because they're just constantly looking for that initial spark, that feel good, like it's the beginning, and they don't have the resilience to just stick it out. But when you do,
it's almost like a drug.
You're that much stronger.
Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. But your relationship is that much stronger when you make it through those difficult situations.
Yeah.
Same thing with business, is that when you can find a way to get through that first hurdle, the first wall that comes up, you're that much better off for it. It's almost a little disheartening, but also kind of encouraging when you finally get to that point in your life where you realize nothing is just going to come easy, and you're going to have ups and downs, and you're going to feel like quitting. You're going to go through these 5 stages, but then the part that's empowering is really in the end, you have control over all of it. And as long as you can recognize where you're at, you can figure out how to get out of it. Just like in the real estate industry, it's like you have control. I just saw a realtor complaining this morning on Facebook about how business has dried up, so she needs someone to provide her leads. And all these people are saying, look, you have to go out and make calls.
Right.
And this one lady's like, I've done 40 million already this year, all on calling, which is what we do.
Yeah.
But Jasleen, tell me about your stage one real quick. We'll move on to stage 2. How did you feel when you first met with us and you decided you wanted to get in real estate, and you went and got your license? How did you feel?
You probably felt differently when you met Casey to when you met us, right?
She met you guys, she moved into stage 2, which is Dallas.
Well, when I first met Casey was last year in August, and I wasn't even here to talk about real estate. I was here to talk about more of like real estate photography because that's what I wanted to do. But when Casey showed
Way
me
to flip the script, Casey.
Yes,
Good job.
When I got out of my car, all that money just fell out and blew away. I didn't even care because I've got so much of it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you want people to think.
Yeah.
And then Casey showed me examples. I was like, yep, that's not going to work out. This is way too professional. Like, I'm not at this level at the moment. And then Casey just offered me, he's like, you want to get your real estate license? I was like, why not, I guess.
You can kind of learn it and things like that.
Yeah. And then passing the test was a struggle for
So
sure.
you went kind of through the 5 stages with that.
License.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my test, 5 stages. I was excited. I took my first test and then I failed, which was a bummer. Took it 7 times. The 6th try, like the 6th one, I failed it by 1 point and I was done. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah, that's hard.
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah.
That's really, like,
Mentally, though. But
that's like
that
the 6th stage nobody talks about.
well,
It's the dark day. It's just the dark day.
No, but all that, there still is, like what you just said, that is all of this. You're going to, when we talk about all the stages, you went through every single stage
Right.
with that. And then you finally passed. And then that probably that stage 1, like, excitement.
Yeah,
came
it
back,
went right back. Yep.
So what did you think? What did you feel when you got that pass on the screen?
I couldn't believe it, honestly.
Did you cry?
Yes, I
You did?
cried. Yeah. I stepped out.
Stage 5 initiated.
Yeah,
Satisfaction and appreciation.
I
Just
cried.
telling everyone the stages.
Yeah, that's okay.
They need to stick around to hear the stages.
I didn't say that.
That's not the 5th stage, anyways.
I couldn't. Yeah. I just couldn't believe I passed the test. I kept looking at the screen again. I was like, there's no way. And then as soon as I stepped out, I cried. And then I called Casey and he didn't pick up.
Oh.
I was teaching you a lesson.
Which was?
Don't expect me to answer just because you're calling me every time.
Facts. I mean, it was at 9 though, so that makes sense. It was at 9 at night.
AM?
No, PM.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't call me after 8 p.m.
Well, it was exciting news.
Unless you
I know-
want me to write you $1 million offer.
Wait,
I'll
what
do that
time-
at any time.
What time was your test?
I think it was at like 6 or 7.
So
didn't know
you
they
were
went
so
that
excited
late.
to tell me you waited till nighttime.
Well, she took her a couple hours to take the
Yeah,
test.
it took the whole time.
Oh man, I didn't even realize they do it that late.
I know.
that's what- yeah.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you called him immediately when you got in the car?
Yes.
Oh, yeah,
I was
that's
bawling
awesome.
my eyes, and then I called my best friend, and I was
Who'd
bawling.
you call first?
I think it was my best friend.
You think?
Yeah.
Are you just saying that because your best friend might be listening?
Or
No,
Casey
no,
right
no.
Here, I'll protect you.
Well, I think I called
are you talking
Casey
about
first.
Ashiba?
Alishba.
Alishba, sorry.
Well, I called Casey first, and he didn't pick up. And then I called
Okay.
Alishba.
Yeah, okay, so it was Casey first.
Yeah, and then called Alishba, and she's like, "Why are you crying?" She's like, "You're built different." Cause she's like, "You didn't cry when you missed like 1 point, and now you're crying that you passed." I was like, "It's just different. You don't
yeah,
know."
It's a different,
What you
it's a
went-
different emotion. It's a
Yeah.
happy emotion.
What's weird is what you went through is what I mean, so many people say the same thing. Like when I passed, it literally says you passed on the screen, and I looked at it and I'm like,
You sure?
and I looked at the lady, I'm like, what does this mean?
Yeah.
That means you passed, and I'm like,
cool.
yes, I did it.
Yeah,
Well,
it
I
was-
was surprised I did it on the first time.
Oh, you had to throw that in there, huh?
Okay.
Well, I think I only passed on my first time because it took me 3 tries on the school test. So I was
Well,
better
and you had a
prepared.
great person preparing you for it with
You,
answering your questions.
Yeah, I don't
We-
know if I would have passed it without Curtis.
Well, I mean, because we did study together a lot with the math and everything.
Well,
you
even
know?
when I was doing my test, I would just send you the questions. And
Oh, yeah, I do remember that.
Yeah. Which
Yeah.
I appreciate that, man.
What a
I
great,
really do.
what a great guy. What a
Yeah,
great guy.
I really do. Because I can't
Yeah.
do that for other people.
Well, you know.
I mean, especially with the math ones.
I can
It's
tell.
hard. You're on your own.
yeah, no.
I can tell he didn't help me at all.
There
Well,
also
did you
wasn't.
ask?
I think so. Couple
There also
times.
wasn't Chat GBT at the time either.
Well, I'll say this: it is challenging, like because you got to be patient with people. What you got to do is, and I will say it does depend on the person sometimes because when you meet people, you can see the potential. And yes, you could be
ambition,
wrong.
I would say.
Yeah, 100%. And you can, and I've been wrong many times. And you know, there's certain things that we look for, and it's about like, you know, how responsible are they in life now? Because if you're responsible with your life now, then you're taking this seriously,
Yes.
right? And you want to do well. But I will say, Casey, I'll go ahead and give you some mentorship right now. if you want to do that for other people, obviously being patient is key. But what I typically do, this is not just with the test, this is with like just when we're teaching them anything in real estate, is I try to remember what it felt like to be brand new again. And because I have a couple agents right now that I'm coaching through we're writing their first contract, and and it was the same day they were both writing their first contract ever,
and they're like,
and one of them like was showing late at night and got done showing, and they wanted to put an offer in. So like at 9:00 it was, hey, can you run comps with me real quick, and I'm going to write this contract. And I'm like, slow down. I was like, you can't turn the contract in tonight. Like let's do it tomorrow morning. You know?
Yeah.
And but in their eyes it's like
urgent.
Customers. I told them I would send it to them tonight.
That, and they don't want to mess up anything.
Yes. And so I was like, well, I need to do a better job of setting expectations before the fact, right? And which I didn't think about. I forgot about those emotions, like when
especially contract writing.
Yes.
And stuff. Yeah.
because and your clients, they have no idea how long it will actually take you to write an
just
offer.
tell. And
You're the professional. Just be confident.
I told him, I said, don't put that pressure on yourself. Like, tell your
Don't
clients.
put that pressure on me.
Well, but mostly yourself too. Like when you're with your clients, tell them, okay, well, there's nothing we can do tonight. I will get everything ready and I'll get it sent over to you tomorrow. And then when I have a better idea of
By
time,
7 a.m.
I'll let you know. Yeah, when I have a better idea of time, I'll let you know. Now, it turned out that this one did go into multiple offers, and so we did have to hustle and get it in. But those emotions, those initial emotions, like I had to put myself back in those shoes, because like, I remember I was the same. It took a lot for me to learn it's okay. Everything can slow down.
Well, because you're learning people's emotions, you're learning new systems,
And
you're
they're learning their
contracts.
clients'
So
emotions.
much.
Yeah, it's
So
like
much.
you have your own emotions you got to control, so it's just like overload.
Oh, yeah. It's all at once.
People don't
Yeah.
understand.
I mean, it's still overload sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, it always will be. I don't think people understand that part of what we do.
No.
Okay, so excitement, we're thrilled, and then what happens? What happens next, Jasleen?
Uncertainty and doubt.
Uncertainty
Oh,
and doubt.
explain
Why the
it.
heck does that happen next?
Why does it have to happen?
Well, because you're excited at first, and then reality hits, and you're like, "Oh crap!" Like,
Did I make
Like
the right
what?
choice?
exactly?
Yeah, but what makes you start thinking that?
Because you're just getting hit left and right. Like it's
With
just
no's and
with no's, and then getting betrayed by buyers.
You realize how much work it actually entails. When I got my license, I was I was the epitome of the person who watched HGTV, saw how much money they were making on $1 million listing, and thought, well, this is a great idea for a career. Go get your license, and then all of a sudden you don't even think about it until it hits. You're like, wait a second.
We're not in Miami.
We're not in California or Florida or New York. We're in Oklahoma, and people don't just knock on your door and say, "Can you list my $2.5 million property, please?"
Yeah, you don't instantly get the Rolls Royce and the red bottoms. And you get to come out with the fancy suit and just
The
sell
problem
stuff.
with those shows is the only in depth they really show is like a couple counter offers here and there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They don't talk about all the the title issues, the inspections, people no showing you, having changes of hearts. It's like every time a realtor shows a house on TV, they sell it.
Well, they every time it's on TV, it's like they only look at 3 houses. Which one do you want? It's the only thing you can pick between is one of these 3.
I did see the one in Miami. The guy goes, he's talking to his clients in the car, and it's off market, which I love. And he's like, I've got an off market one for you. It's a little bit above your budget, but if you want it, it's yours. And we won't go to market. If we go to market, we're going to have probably 5, 6, 7 offers within a day. And then the lady's husband, the lady really wanted it. Her husband is like, I think we should really go in. It was about 100,000 less. About 100,000 less. So it was like, instead of like 1.2, it's 1.1. And the realtor's like, dude, he's like, this is off market. They're not going to accept anything lower.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, how about like 1 million, and a half or whatever. And the guy's like, okay, we'll do it. And then of course the guy, the seller's like, yeah, that's not going to work. We'll just bring it to market. And he goes, I just feel like the buyer's like, I just feel like I need to rely on my experience here. And the realtor says, I'm going to encourage you to not do that. and to do what I'm telling you to do, or you will not get the home. And his wife's back there just all pissed off.
She's like, I want this house.
So what happened? What happened?
He finally did it.
Okay, full price.
Yeah, he's finally like in the back. He's like, okay, let's
happy
do it.
wife, happy life. I better go ahead and do it.
Well, they couldn't find a house. And they needed to move. It was just like, that was actually like more reliable because like they needed to move and they weren't listening and they were about to not have a home.
People think that realtors are just like out for the commission and money hungry. So like they're going to just tell you whatever you want. It's like,
well, you know what?
We do want the commissions. And if you want the house, then listen to us because we don't get paid unless you get the house.
Yeah. And it's like, guess what? If I got paid, that means you got a house.
Right.
I'm like, it's at the end of the day, it's your decision. I'm not trying to tell you which way, but like, do this one.
I think there's just so many bad agents out there that are giving bad advice
that make us
or
look
they
bad.
They're just that's the way people's brains go.
Their emotions.
They're not gonna. They don't trust us because of that for sure. But to Brooke's point, I give them the option too, and it's like, I forgot what I was gonna say, but basically along the lines of, if you want the house, like it's your choice, but if you really want this house, then this is what you need to do. And sometimes you got to let them not listen and learn their lesson.
I've done that before.
As long as they come around sooner than later, I'm okay with it.
Because if they keep doing it every single time and they keep losing and missing out, it's like, okay,
I'll do it.
Because if you tell your child, I always explain like this: if you tell your child that stove is hot, and they go and they don't believe you because they don't know what that feels like. Well, once they touch it, most likely they're never going to touch it again. But if your kid goes and touches it again, it's
stop feeling bad for them.
There's something wrong with you.
Well, and you don't feel bad for them anymore.
No,
it's like you know better. Right. Okay, so uncertainty and doubt could look like so many different things, but I do think that reality hitting is a big reason why we start to just doubt, like, was this the right choice? Like, you start to lose some confidence in yourself because it's not as easy as you thought. You're not, the comfortability is not there because before you know what kind of work is involved, you're pretty comfortable because you're thinking, I'm going to dominate this industry or whatever it is that you're doing. And then you realize, crap, I'm going to have to work to make this happen.
And I think it just kind of slowly, Jasleen, tell me if you agree, but it like slowly becomes overwhelming because you're like, okay, this is what I have to do. I have to make a call and go to this appointment and then do an open house. And then it's like, okay, well, you've done several of those.
Right.
Now you got to
and you want to see the results.
A bunch of people, and then you're like, okay, well, now I got to keep them organized. Well, now I got to learn a CRM.
Right.
That was what I was going to say. Like, then you start thinking, I got to learn this and learn that. And I got to learn contracts.
It just like starts piling on, and then you keep getting told no. It is so just overwhelming.
Yeah. So tell us
that
how
leads right into stage 3, right?
Well, I was going to say, tell me real quick how you feel now that you're excited and everything, and then you got 3 listings, and since you've got those 3 listings, what's happened?
Nothing. It's been dead. Like, that's why I've been doubting. I mean, I would say just have an honest conversation with their mentor because that's what he's there for, he or she. I mean, I had an honest conversation with Casey yesterday or 2 days ago.
That's huge.
Yeah.
The key word in what you just said was honest because I can't tell you how many people I have tried to coach and I ask them the questions that I know are going to lead to like success and they lie to me.
Yeah.
And I'm
like, they're lying to themselves.
They're lying to themselves
they can't be honest
too.
With you.
So it's like, okay, I don't care if you're doing the work or not, but I cannot help you if you're not being honest with me. Like what does it matter if it's hard for people to admit when they're not doing the work. They want to blame other things. So I think blame is a big part of the uncertainty and doubt stage.
Yeah.
For buyers and sellers and realtors, for everyone involved in the real estate industry, what I've noticed over the years is no one understands that there's an actual market involved. Even though we say, I'm going to bring your home to market, which means there's a supply and demand issue, but no one wants to admit it. And everyone is living in the past because they haven't quite adjusted.
That's all they know,
Because we're living in it every day. New realtors, they just see what's happened. Like all these realtors are killing it in 2021. Well, there's still people killing it, but also what we're doing is we're getting a bunch of listings and they're kind of sitting. But once the market shifts again, all those listings are going to go under contract if you still have them.
If you stack your listings right, then they'll start consistently going under contract again. We're just in that transitional period where it's going from where listings are taking a little bit longer, so you have to bear with the market while the market catches up to that. And sellers are going to have a hard time adjusting their price to get their house sold because they overpaid for it for several years, and now the market's going to a buyer's market, and if they want to get their house sold, it's going to require them to drop their price.
I see a lot of,
and then they blame agents. All they want to do is drop. They got to drop the price to get the house sold.
I'm predicting a lot of assumable rates loans happening.
Yeah, I agree.
Because I mean, those people that overpaid also probably got 3%. But the issue that I see coming forward with this is buyers and sellers are super impatient. And so like if you advertise assumable loan, well, the first offer you get that wants to assume it, like it could be a 90-day process.
Yeah. Right.
If it does, and it may not even happen. And
you just got to have that. Again, it goes back to setting expectations in all things. So just, you got to let your seller know if you're open to assumable, then it could take up to 90 days once we get an offer for it. Same thing if you have a buyer that's wanting to assume something, let them know you're not it could take 90 days. Now it could happen in 45, 60 days, but prepare them for the long haul on those.
Be patient, be ready.
So uncertainty, doubt, you start blaming other people and questioning if this is right. So what happens when you're doing that? What's the next stage from there?
It's struggle and frustration.
This is where I'm at, between 3 and 4.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's hard because, when you're running a business, it almost daily you can run into things that struggle and are frustrating, but it just depends on like a mindset is key here, because you learn how to deal with things and process, and then it doesn't become as frustrating.
I think maybe too, and tell me if you guys agree, but with this stage, I feel like a lot of people struggle with it because we just
struggle with struggle.
They struggle with struggle.
No doubt.
We all struggle with
struggle.
No doubt. Nobody likes it.
We kind of said it at the beginning, though. Now I forgot.
Well, this is where you get into the point where, like, you could start, go ahead.
Because we can control our business, but then sometimes because of the market, just like we said, it sits there for a little bit, so really we can't control it.
Well, and the client's expectations is frustrating because they think it's going to happen overnight.
Right, and so I do think that's something where we have to accept that life happens. Like, everything happens for a reason, whether we understand it, know it, like it or not. If you just accept every day that something's going to happen, there's going to be a struggle. And this is not an easy thing, but this is something that I've always worked on. And it's helped me just get through times and stuff because I know I'm in control, but I also know that there's going to be some things that I cannot control. And I know if I just wait, it'll be okay. At the end of the day, it's going to happen whether I like it or not. So it's up to me. Do I either stress myself out or keep going forward with it?
One of the things I love, one of our trusted vendor partners told us is like, control your controllables. That if the things you cannot control, if you focus on those and get and think just too much about it and let them get inside you, then you're going to continue to have struggle and frustration. But if you control your activities and your actions and do the things that you're supposed to do to grow your business, then and you're consistent with it, then your business is going to be fine. No matter what the uncontrollables say or do, interest rates, I mean, none of it matters if you are doing the activities that you're supposed to do. And the problem is that when people have the freedom to be in business for themselves, is that they don't have somebody telling them you have to be here at this time, you can't leave until this time, and this is what you have to do in between or before you go. And really, even if you get it done, they tell you can't leave, you got to stay there and do extra work.
Yes.
And when you are in business for yourself, we don't put those boundaries on ourselves. Boundaries are good.
Yes.
Like boundaries on life, like they help you grow, they help you build things. They help you just be better. And when you are in charge, a lot of times we want life to be boundaryless. And that's what we envision. And like, that's what we're searching for and hoping for. And like, I don't have to go to work and I can just make money and not,
watch your discipline just disappear out the window.
Your mind,
slowly but surely.
Your mind will go, your discipline will go, like everything, you'll just lose it all. And you got to put boundaries on just life, on everything that you're doing, because then you'll never grow. You'll never build anything worthwhile. You'll never grow. It's good to work, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then there's so many different ways you can be pulled. It's like, do you start a YouTube channel? What do you do with your Instagram? Should you do TikTok? And it's like, at some point you have to say, like, what's most important for my day? And if you want to start working on something, what are your expectations for? Like, if you start YouTube, like, well, I can't just make a video and then be famous from it. Like, I've got to make hundreds of videos. I have to get at least 1,000 subscribers. And so it's like a long-term game, but you can't just start doing that and TikTok and Instagram.
No,
you know, because then you're just doing CRMs and you're trying to buy lead lists, and it's like, it's never ending. And the things that you're not doing is building relationships and getting in front of people talking about real estate.
Put your
quality
face
over
in
quantity.
The world.
Quality
Put your face
over
in the
quantity.
world. Go and just meet somebody new, even if it's just one conversation a day.
So this is just a funny story, Jasleen. Our struggle and frustration was we wanted to start a YouTube channel, and we had someone that was willing to come out and help us do some drone footage and some work, and we asked a $2 million seller to come and help us or let us use their home for the video, and they're like, yeah, that's great. Well, when we got there, she had to be there because their clients forced her to be there with us. She had her kids with her that day, so she literally kept her kids in a closet.
Oh my gosh!
So we could film. You know, she gave them toys and snacks and stuff and some water.
Okay,
but anyways, long story short, all of us were involved in this process, including the person that volunteered their time. And we never got the video back from the person.
Still?
Nope.
Still.
Have you requested it?
Doesn't matter now. It's over.
It's been a month, right?
Well, you already knew that was bound to happen.
Yeah, well, sometimes you just want to put some faith in some people.
Right.
So, anyways.
But you go back to what we talked about.
I mean,
when you learn, like, you already knew this person was like that.
Oh, sure.
So you want to put faith in someone, but if you've already proven to you that that's how they're going to be, then you got to quit putting faith in that person, you know?
Yeah, we can talk about that later. But yeah, so anyways, that was very frustrating.
But that was part of what we talked about, is how, you know, we the struggle, or what was the uncertainty and doubt and the struggle and frustration. Like, you know, we kind of talked about how when reality hits, you got to learn from it.
Yes.
You know, and so that applies again to, you know, everything.
And no matter how much it sucks, once you go through it, the next time it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Like, whether it's a contract,
you know, you can do
you
it.
just learned something, and it may seem so difficult in the time, but then when you look back on it, you're like, that's nothing now.
Yeah.
So you need that if you want to grow.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, too, like I just showed up, and this happens all the time, and this is part of like understanding what the ups and downs of real estate is. I picked up a buyer on last Sunday, and then I showed them some houses the next day. I knew that they had been kind of using a realtor, and that I went and showed them a bunch of houses, and then that night, you know, so right before I go to bed, I get a wonderful text message of, hey, you know, we just feel really, really guilty about not using our agent, and so we're just going to continue with them. And so I thought about it, and I go, you know what? I would be more pissed off if I was that agent than if it were me, because I knew that they had been talking to someone. I gave it a shot. I did what I would do for anybody. I took the opportunity. It didn't work out. So you know what? Forget it. It's over. I'm going to focus on the next thing, try to get another buyer, and let it go. You know, and so, but those are the things that takes a long time to learn.
Oh yeah, because you have to take those shots. You know, because if you didn't, and say you did it and say it did work out good, you could have made $10K or whatever, however much you were looking at.
And what bothers me is when that happens to people, and the wrong mindset, in my opinion, is to say, I'm never going to work with someone again that tells me that they have an agent. Like, that agent wasn't doing their job. They weren't setting them up with the correct, you know, showings. They weren't educating them, and you did those things. And so don't take that experience and never, work with somebody again that's in that situation, because next time it could all work out. Yeah, or take it personal.
At the same time, like that, if people have emotions, like those are their own emotions. It's not always necessarily yours. And so, and didn't they tell you that like you explained to them like exactly how much closing costs?
Oh yeah,
oh so much more.
And it was
so
like
much more.
like double what their agent. So them knowing that and them saying that, like, you should have acceptance knowing that they buried their own grave at that point, you know?
We just talked about to like learn from your experiences, but that's why real estate is so hard, because in this one, you're not learning to not do it again. You're learning to build a stronger mindset, and don't kill opportunities, because an opportunity didn't work out the first time.
It might not, because I mean, ones that felt amazing make you feel really good, and you got it, and you connected with them, and then those people ghost you too.
Yeah.
So like, it's just part of it.
But real quickly on that same topic, where you learn to not do it again is if it's the same person 3 years from now, and they're still working with that agent, like, and they're looking for a new house. That's when you can learn and have a better conversation with them. Okay, I'll show you, but I gotta,
and also
you're gonna sign something. Yeah.
But, I mean, that, I learned a lot of my resiliency just recently from Ricky Cruz, because I watched all his Q&As, and people are just like, oh, what happens if I put someone in my CRM and they unsubscribe from it? And he's like,
then they unsubscribe.
Yeah, then they unsubscribe. Move on. What do you want to deal with? A person that doesn't want to deal with you?
Yeah,
go find another buyer.
Who cares?
Yeah, he's like, who cares? And I'm like, you know what? I love that.
It's just who cares.
Because your job is to go
numbers.
find buyers.
It's a numbers game.
Yeah.
Everybody's not going to love you. Everyone's not going to want to use you.
Just drop the ego.
Yeah. You're going to get told no more than you're going to get told yes. The sooner you can accept that, the better off you are.
You got anything to say?
I think I'm struggling with that. That's why I'm quiet and listening. I'm like,
with the nose. Yeah. You're learning right now,
Yes,
Yeah.
for sure.
How are you feeling?
Huh?
Tell us how you're feeling. Just don't cry.
I mean, I don't know. Like I told Casey a couple days ago that I'm having a hard time with life, and on top of the real estate, I feel like real estate is very emotionally challenging and need to be strong. And I'm getting into that right now.
When life gets tough outside of real estate, then you really got to have a strong support system around you and a strong mindset, because when life gets tough, it's very easy to lose your motivation when it comes to work and the pursuit of this career. However, it's the pursuit of this career and the success you can get from it that could trickle over into making life better, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just so interesting, because life is hard. No matter which way you slice and dice it, it doesn't matter. You can
what you do.
Or what you do.
Career you go into.
Yeah, it's always hard. There's always challenges. You're always going to get punched in the face.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
And so you can either choose. I always say, I forget where I learned this from, so this is not from me, but you could be poor and live paycheck to paycheck and struggle, and that is hard to do. It's very hard, and sometimes it's out of your control, because some people lose everything, but they get it back because they have the right mindset. Yeah. And then not even that, you could be in control of it and still lose everything. And
I meant
and the
like
market,
government assistance.
yeah, or the things outside of your control, and the market crashes and you just lose everything. But if you have the right mindset, you can build it back. But being poor, living paycheck to paycheck is hard. Building a business, dealing with the emotions of people.
Choose your hard.
Just which one do you want? Like they're both hard. You got to pick, and whether you like it or not, you're choosing. And I think a lot of people. Or settling. That's a great.
Which is a choice.
Great. Yeah,
that is a choice. And I feel like settling sometimes is hard too.
Well, I think that's what a lot of people are choosing to do, because they're comfortable. They don't want to put forth the effort, and they would rather just settle and then deal with the stress that comes with paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
Majority of Americans live that way. And I think that's a big part of the reason why. So it's out there if you want it. You got to go
What's
get it.
What's the fourth one?
You got to have your why.
I was like, when does this get positive again?
Right now.
I think
we've kind of just talked about this really. I mean, adaptation and resilience, and that's why I'm between 3 and 4, because I'm adapting to the new NAR stuff and how commissions are going to work, and the market is shifting, and you have to adapt to that. And the resilience I touched on because I had to be resilient with that client because it was just an opportunity.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a lot more opportunities, and they're not all going to work out, and some are going to hurt worse than others.
I think getting to this stage is good because you need to have, I mean, getting through all of it, right, will be good. You have to experience all of it to grow. But the whole point of it is to grow. So if you always have that mindset of growth, okay, now you're on stage 4 is adaptation. Okay, how can you make your life easier of some of the things that you are already doing? Put systems in place, different things like that. So you're adapting to that or the changes that are coming in. Change happens every single day. And so many people, they're like, I hate change and da-da-da-da. And I'm like,
part of life.
It's part of life.
Can't
everything.
Control it.
It's just going to happen. So just accept it and adapt and just put things in place. And then that way you can keep growing and keep moving forward. And then eventually you get back to the optimistic stage.
Well, so, I think you're in all 5 stages at all time. It just depends. Like with one buyer, you might be in a different cycle.
Not at all times. I think you can repeat the process.
Well, I mean, I
don't think you can be in. You can be in 2 steps at once.
Yeah, because I think you can be satisfied and accomplished with one client or one area in your business, but you could be
but you got to
self-doubt with another.
I feel like there's like there is to what Casey's saying, but it happens faster. It's like in a day or something. And
yeah, well, if you're going to look at it from client to client, where you're at with each client, then but I don't necessarily think you even you go through all 5 stages with every single client anyways. I mean, maybe there's an argument to be made. If I sat down and thought about it, but like with your career, like you're going to be going through one of these 5 stages, because even if you have clients that you're in different stages with, like if you are in the adaptation or resilience stage, when you are struggling with a client, like you could, in your career, you could be in that adaptation phase where it's not bothering you very much. And you're like, I'm struggling with them, but I already learned how to adapt and be resilient through losses and people telling me no. I read a book on stress and how to overcome stress. And this has stuck with me ever since I read it. But it talked about like when you're going through periods of like high stress, and like usually there's anxiety and you're worried about something like that where you don't know the outcome.
Yeah.
And we just want to know that everything's going to be okay. The book talked about how you need to take you need to take your mind to the like what you're worried about. Like what's the worst possible thing that can happen? Like what what are you so worried about? And then take yourself there. Let it happen.
Feel the emotion too.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I try to do.
That's what it said to do. You just because then you learn to accept. If it does happen, you accept it.
You already felt it.
And, yes.
And it's just there.
And the stress, and then the stress starts to go away. And I think one of the hardest things for me, like a big fear of mine, where I stress and get a ton of anxiety, is what if I fail my family? What if I have to come home one day and tell my wife we have to move? We have to sell our house.
Yeah,
we're moving in with your dad.
Yeah. we lost everything, and and from somebody who wants to be a protector and a provider, and like that's where I sometimes try to find value in, and I shouldn't just try to find value in those things. I have to take myself to that happening, and then I don't stress about it, because
it's almost a motivator too, right?
I was gonna say it allows me to do more and to because when you don't worry and stress about things, you're able to put it aside and do the things that you're supposed to do. Because fear and stress can stop you from accomplishing your goals and being resilient.
I used to, so on that point, I have come to the realization the worst case scenario for me, if my business just falls apart, is we do have to live with our father-in-law, and not a lot of people will have somewhere to go. So at least I've got somewhere to go. And the more things I purchased and bought, it's like, oh man, I've got more to lose now.
Yeah.
And I just had to tell myself, like, because I probably put between 50 and 100 grand into my studio. I love my music studio. I could live in there if I needed to. But at the end of the day, if I don't have that, I can still make music.
Because how many years did you live without it before?
I mean, my whole life.
Right.
But I've also always wanted it.
Sure.
But now that I have it, it's not mandatory. And really, in the end, as long as I've got my family, like the rest of it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
So
hard reality. It's a hard reality to accept that. It's easy for people to say, and April tells me this all the time, like, listen, as long as we have each other and we're together, that's all that matters. Like, if you came home and said that, like, it'll be okay, I promise. And I think that support helps so much.
Yeah. My wife, she would do it too. Whatever we got to do, we'll do.
Also, you guys have work. We all have work ethic. So, like, even if it got worse case scenario there, we know how to work out of it. And
because we get up every day and we put our pants on.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's what you got to do.
Yeah, hopefully you put a shirt on.
Zip your fly too.
Yeah, well,
I did a showing the other day with my fly down. Totally.
Was it when you came in this morning or the other morning?
Yeah, and you told me.
Yeah,
she's like, your fly's down. I'm like,
now,
oh man, I just showed a house.
I have one question for you. Did they buy that house?
Not yet.
No, his fly was down.
I know. Well, I was going to say, are they closed? Maybe is there a possibility?
It's fine. It's just not it's not a hurry situation.
Okay.
So if it closes, I'll leave my fly down for every showing.
There you go.
And people are like, "Hey, dude, your fly's out." I'm like, "I know."
It's
like, good luck.
Okay, what's the last one so we can wrap this up for everybody?
Satisfaction and accomplishment.
Satisfaction and accomplishment. No better feeling than that, I would say.
Yeah.
And I think earning it is even more satisfying than if it was like given to you or something like that.
Sometimes though, I feel like this stage only lasts like
real
quick.
I was going to say sometimes like passing your real estate test is instant satisfaction.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think like when you're doing your everyday business and it's just a grind, I think sometimes you've got to learn to allow that
and
feeling.
appreciate it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's like, you got a couple listings, but also a couple contracts busted at the same time.
Yeah.
Right.
Or something, so it's like,
or you hit the 100K mark, finally you get your ring. I mean, you got to enjoy those moments. That's why have fun is one of our core values. You got to
celebrate the small things.
You have to, or you're going to burn out so fast from all the emotions.
Because I've always kind of had that attitude. It's like, it's not good enough. Like, I know I have this many listings or this many houses, but it's not good enough because once I close them, then I'm back to being unemployed.
Well, if you get too satisfied too quick,
that could be dangerous.
You stop growing.
I always talk about those realtors that retire after they sell one house.
Yeah.
It's just so funny. It's like,
I did it.
It's like,
and then they're selling their house for sale by owner, and they let you know that they used to be a broker.
Yeah. I was an agent a couple years ago. Well, obviously not a good one because you're listed for sale by owner.
Yeah.
Which is almost what they did with their brokerage, right? It's like they didn't want to work for somebody, so they just went and did it on their own,
right?
And then never did anything,
right? Yeah.
So it's like the same mentality. I never thought about that now, but it's like the same mentality that they've kept through their life.
Yeah.
Which is awful.
That's settling.
Ugh.
Well, Jasleen, how are you going to get to, if you're in stage 3, how are you going to get to stage 4?
I need a plan for sure.
You're planning it?
Yeah.
Are you planning a couple punches in the face too?
She's building her resilience.
Yeah, it's hard, low key. I'll be honest for sure.
What makes it hard to overcome? And do you believe you can overcome it?
I think definitely discipline, because that's what Casey told me. Motivation has nothing to do with this.
Yeah.
No.
It's all about discipline. I think I do struggle in that, but once I'm in it, then I'm in it, if that makes sense.
Yeah. What about the discipline do you struggle with? Like, why is the discipline part of it so hard? Have you ever had a 9-to-5 like corporate job?
Bank first, sort of.
Well, it was part-time, but before that, I was a full-time banker for like 4 months.
Okay.
But
and somebody and you had hours that you had to be there.
Right.
So now that you don't have anyone giving you hours like that, you got to make the choice. Like, you still got to work those hours,
right?
You know, and I think that's where a lot of people fail in this, is that they think that they don't got to put in the time and put in the hours because there's no one telling them to do it. You are your own boss. You're hiring yourself every day. And And so either you're going to put the hours in yourself, or you're going to put yourself in a situation where someone else is forcing you to put the hours in yourself.
Yeah, I don't think so. That's the issue, honestly.
So you're putting the hours in? How many hours are you working a day?
Well, no.
So then it is the issue. Don't say it's not the issue.
Yeah.
Because don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. We'll catch you.
I mean, putting in the hours is not the problem. It's more of like getting on the phone and like making the calls.
That's putting in the hours. That's what I'm saying. Like,
yeah, I guess.
So how many hours are you working a day in your real estate business?
I have completely stopped. I'll be honest.
So see, putting in the hours is part of it.
Couple of weeks.
You got to accept that fact,
right?
And not to be harsh either, because you're one of many people who go through this. It's really hard, and making calls is intimidating. It's scary. Rejection is hard, and it's difficult to put up with. But you can't get better at it unless you do it. And I'd even say, like, just go through the motions. Like, don't put the pressure on yourself that you have to be this rock star salesperson and be able to convert every deal that you have. I think people put too much pressure on themselves. Just go get 10 people to tell you no. And if you do that, you're going, like, if you get 10 people to tell you no, you will hear almost every objection that you will need to hear.
And then you'll be fine the next 10.
Yep.
Okay.
So and there's small things.
Forget the yeses. Just get the no's.
Yeah, and there's small things that people do. I watch, and it's just interesting. It's like they call for sale by owner, and now they're going to wait for that person to call back so they can make sure they have the time to go show them, and they're not going to call the next one until they hear back, or they have someone who says, yeah, we want to look at houses this weekend. So then you stop everything and you wait for that person. And it's like, keep making phone calls, and the first person that says yes, you can come over, that's the first person you put on your book. And that the other person calls back and says, I want the same time. Well, then you got to go, sorry, I can come at 8, or I can come in the morning at 10. And you just keep stacking your appointments that way. You cannot stop making the phone calls.
And then I'll let you go back. Sorry, you got to stack your appointments, because a lot of agents will get that appointment, and then all of a sudden they stop, they do research, they figure it out, and then they had a good conversation. So now they're just hyper focused on, this is the one I'm going to get, and they don't do anything else. They don't call any more prospects.
Unnecessary tasks. It's making yourself feel motivated, I guess, in the moment.
Feel like you're doing something.
It makes it feel like you're working, but you're not.
And then they're driving to the appointment, and the FSBO sends them a text like, sorry, I can't make it tonight.
Yeah.
And you've got this giant packet of info you're going to go over with them and show them, everything you know.
And you spent hours doing it. It's like, don't do any of that. None of that. Like, just set appointments.
You have to do, if you want to make it in real estate, you got to do the one thing that nobody wants to do, and that is pick up the phone and call everybody.
And follow up with
everyone.
Everyone.
Your friends, your family, FSBOs, open house people, just ask people for connections. Like, you need to be doing that. If you don't have a job, you need to be doing that 8 hours a day.
Yes.
And you're like us making our videos, that is not income producing activity.
I don't think it's possible for you to do that 8 hours a day. If you did, you'd be
busy in 2 months.
You'd be making $500,000 a year.
Yeah, you'd be number one on the board.
You would get so busy. If you started out doing it 8 hours a day, you would get so busy, you would be pulling your hair out. Just so you know.
So to be honest with you, Jasleen, I think part of the issue of building and getting through to start really understanding all this is your why. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
So I met with a contractor the other day. He's 25 years old. He's got $500,000 in his bank account right now, and he had one realtor. He's a contractor and roofer. He had one realtor send him 21 roofs last year. So the dude is killing it.
Oh.
And he said that he had lost $500,000 in a partnership dispute. And I'm like, dude, the fact that you even had $500,000 to lose at 25 is very, very impressive. He's like, really?
My gosh.
He has no idea how driven he is. I don't know his why. I don't know his why, but maybe he just wants to have tons and tons of money, And so he gets on the phone with the insurance company and cusses them out. You are going to approve this, or I will give my client an attorney, and you will hear from them. I mean, he's 25 years old, being aggressive like that.
I have a feeling that hearing some of this, stage 2 can creep back in with uncertainty and doubt. Because it's reality, right?
Yeah.
Like the reality of this is what I have to do. Like, are you serious? Like, I thought like all my friends and family like were gonna just use me, and want me to help them find a house and all that. But if you're gonna make it, the most of your business has to come from people that you don't know.
Right.
They become people in your network that you do know.
They're better to practice on anyway.
And that's when you start to get referrals and all of that,
I just read in the tipping point, and I don't remember the exact numbers, but they said like 50 something % of any business when you start up actually comes from acquaintances, and only about like 20 something % comes from people that you actually know well.
Yeah.
Meaning your family, your friends, your best friend, like those people. And then the other 25% comes from like
strangers
right. And stuff that you're making.
And a lot of times that's going to be our fault that we can't get our friends and family, because I think a lot of people just assume they're going to call you.
Yes.
And
Yes,
then
they
they
don't put
go
the work in.
Then they go meet with the builder. And the builder, this happened to me with my aunt and uncle, and the builder's like, "Hey, you don't need a realtor. Like, we can do this right now." And they wanted that lot, so they did it.
But also, I think that friends and family can sometimes let us down, and not on purpose, but
They didn't know.
They didn't know. But more further than that is maybe the relationship is too close. They don't want to ruin the relationship. Maybe they don't want to have you deal with their finances or know what type of house they're buying or be that involved in something so personal.
Finances,
Like even though we don't look at their finances or see anything, like you still see like what they're approved for and what they're purchasing. It's a very personal thing to buy a house.
Absolutely.
And
some people are just personal and secretive.
And also I like to tell new agents that your friends and family, when you're new especially, like they don't see you as an expert in real estate because you just got your license.
They know you the best.
Yeah, they know that you were in banking. So if I have a banking question, I'll call Jasleen, not a real estate question. But strangers don't know that.
Right.
And so
I've been licensed a little over 4 years. Granted, I do talk about it a lot. I think less and less now, but still so many people see me as the grocery store person and still ask me grocery store questions.
I still ask you grocery store questions. Like, when is this going to expire? Is this okay to be on the shelf?
But it takes time is the point. So
Jasleen, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me here.
Hopefully we didn't crush your soul and your dreams and your spirit,
Not really, honestly.
It's sometimes you got to be kicked in the rear sometimes to really get going, and sometimes like that motivation and that drive doesn't come until you just get out there and start doing it. You just go through the motions. Just force yourself to go through the motions. But to what Casey said, more importantly, your why. It's as cliche as it is.
Well, this allows you to,
so important.
Yeah, this allows you to look back at that and evaluate it, because now you kind of know a little bit more what's involved. So like maybe your why isn't strong enough, so maybe you just need to reconsider it. And if you could find that, then maybe that will push you through what now you know to be difficult.
Yeah. What do you want? What do you want in life?
Well,
I honestly,
you want to get married and have kids someday? Is that part of your dream?
Yeah.
You want to be a sugar mama?
No.
What? Why? Have your own money.
It's 2024, Jasleen.
Come on now. My goal is be financially freedom. I want to build my own.
There you go.
Business and people want I want people to know me as me, not getting married and you're his wife.
There's nothing.
I want to play off of that. You want people to know you for you,
right?
Something you told me the other day when we were talking in the office, and you said, "I used to be so good at making friends with everybody. I would talk to everybody." Have you thought maybe you're just thinking too hard about getting the business?
Making it about money.
Making it about money. Why don't you just go out there and just make friends?
Yeah.
Because you go out there and you just make friends. That's what this industry is about.
And then tell them what you thought. It'll come up in conversation because you're going to ask them.
If you don't like them, then you don't want them to be your friend. After all, this is your business that you are building. So you want to work with the people you want to work with. Of course, you got to, do the grind and take some deals that you don't want to, right? Because that's part of it. But the more you do this, the more friends you make, the more relationships you make. And then you also get the one person that sends you 21 deals in a year.
Because the people that you are talking to and that they might not be anywhere near being in the market for purchasing or selling a house, right? And they might not know anybody at that moment. And so then there's no point in putting pressure on yourself to like get them to do anything with you or send you something because they don't have anything. So why, so, and you don't know that. So just approach it from you're making connections because it's so great. Like Angie came in yesterday and she's like, I'm writing an offer for a $900,000 property.
Oh, snap.
And I was like, man, that's awesome. How did you meet this person? Oh, it was on Facebook. One of my ads, they commented on it, and I've been courting them since March.
Yeah.
Like just talk. She's like, I just talked to them. I helped them and answered some questions, and
She became their friend.
And now they're ready to buy. And so if she would have tried to make it about getting them to move forward with something now, it might not have worked out. And that's why we say filling your pipeline is so important. And just, you got to meet as many people as you can and just talk to them and tell them what you do. Tell them how they can help you with your business. Even
if you don't become their friend, like you didn't like it, they still might have liked you and they call you 3 months later. But because you put in the work and went out there and tried to make extra friends out there, then now you have all these people that you've been in front of, and now they know that you're Jasleen the realtor, and they know that they can call you, and they will.
Yeah, I always tell people, when you're building a real estate business, it takes you generally 6 months or less to get in. And the outcome is really endless. I mean, look at all the big real estate gurus out there making millions, some making billions, right? So the whole thing that they bypass, like opposed to becoming a brain surgeon, is who makes millions of dollars as well, is that guy that became a brain surgeon. He may have had a path that was a little more direct, like, okay, you have to do this, 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 and this, and this. But it was still extremely difficult. And what they had to do is go into hundreds of thousands of dollars of debt. They had to do residency to continue to go into debt to make $60,000, $70,000 a year while they're at residency, staying up for days on end during residency, then to go out and get a job. And if you're an attorney, your first job doesn't pay well, and you might be working 20 hours a day just like checking records or reading documents for someone.
We're really good at seeing the end and not seeing the journey.
But my point is, we don't have to put 10 years into getting to that point. We have to just start building it from day one. And so you have the advantage in that way of building it as quick as you want to build, just depending on how much time you want to spend on it. And you can still, so I look at it as in like learning the craft, and you may not sell a house for the first 6 months or a year in your home, but that's okay. Like, you don't have to compare it to everyone else, and that is your investment, is learning all these things to kind of get you to where you need to be.
I'd say that's a good question to ask yourself if you're going through all these stages.
What question?
Well, I'm about to ask it.
Oh. I thought Casey said it.
Well, he did kind of say it. Like, what's your timeline, right? Are you stressing yourself out if you plan on building this in 10 years and you're trying to cram it all in right now, or you want to do it in 5 years or 1 year? Ask yourself that. And
timelines change as results happen. And I would argue from what Casey was saying that if you put 8 hours a day in this, like, you'll get a deal your first month. Like, it doesn't mean you might not get paid, because if you get a listing, it's got to go under contract, and then you got to go through escrow and click to the closing table. But you will get business in your first 30 days if you do the money making activities.
You can
correctly.
Yeah, I'm just saying, allow yourself to invest in the industry and be patient.
Yes,
you can seriously change your life in 60 days.
Yeah,
find that time,
or at least see that the fruit that can come from it if you continue to stay with it.
But you got to do it every day,
because
you can nap on Sunday.
Yeah.
How do you feel? What stage you in?
Are you in stage 1 again?
I don't think so. She's like, man, that's going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot. It is.
Yeah.
But you're not, it's for everyone. What you're feeling, like, we feel it every day too.
Yeah. It's just at different stages.
It's just at a different stage. Yeah. It's at a different level.
I mean, it's, we go through, like, there's so much that I have to do on a daily basis, and it's a grind and it's reality, but it's my career, and so I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and it's like the commercial guys. It's like, you see that guy's name and he's got all these developments. Like, but did you know that he lost $100,000 last month? Like, how did he feel about that?
Oh,
but you don't think about that and you don't see that. All you see is success. You know.
Yeah. Good point.
You gotta be awfully resilient to lose $100,000.
So would you rather? Do we have one pulled up? Do it. We probably need to do better at pulling up some would you rather's. Lauren,
Probably
did you
to
pull
make
up
it
would
quick.
you rather? We could do it. Jasleen, did you come up with a would you rather?
Yeah, you're supposed to do that.
I haven't. Hold up.
You should have
You do
known.
have one. Yeah.
You should have known listening to our podcast every week.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's see.
Okay, so we can do if we had a would you rather.
Ew, this one's gross. You guys, you ready for it?
Let's do it.
Oh, I have.
We've done one like that. We've already done that one, I think. Okay, what is this one?
Okay, this just maybe hear like you're saying.
We're going to repeat the question because Lauren doesn't have
okay.
a mic.
Would you rather clog the toilet on a first date, or
Okay.
first day at a new job?
Okay, if
Well,
you're
time out. Why is the first date at their house?
Maybe you're being chivalrous.
It's just a question.
Just a question, Brooke. Yeah, just it went really well. It just went really, really
Clearly.
well. Okay, so you're single.
That's
and,
what you do
and
with all
you're,
your
going, you're on a
dates.
first date.
mean,
Would you rather clog a toilet on the first date at their house or
Yes.
on your first day on the job? Right, first day on the job. Easy.
Yeah, at the job.
First day on the job.
Yeah, I'd be like, well, you guys get to know
Yeah.
me real quick.
Yeah. First day on
Yeah.
the job.
I read I'm on the job too. I read this thing. It's like, how well do you know your spouse? And there's like 20 things on there. And it's like, it's like throwing up in front of them, crapping your pants. Like, and we both got sick. We both got food poisoning when in California.
Oh.
And we
That's
pretty
like
much,
the worst.
Yes.
knocked
Especially at the
all
same
of
time.
those out in a weekend. Because
Mystery gone.
You guys grew really fast every time you tell me a
we did
story.
well. We did that, and then we also remodeled a home when
Yes.
we first got married. And so yeah, we did. We got
Now,
close
has
pretty
she
quick.
ever had to wipe you?
No,
We won't get into that detail.
Oh,
with you.
that wasn't a question.
Do I?
I know that wasn't one of them on the list because I'd have remembered that.
Oh, well,
Hopefully that didn't happen until I'm much older.
yeah. Well,
Not at all.
Yeah.
that I'll just say April knows me very, very well, and
Why'd she have to do that?
well, I have issue. I had a major flare up where I couldn't even walk, and she had to carry me and everything. It was really hard. Like,
Oh, wow.
no, it was a challenge. It was a challenge. But if you don't have your health, it's like you don't have anything, and,
No.
and you,
No.
don't take health for granted for sure. But yeah,
Make it part of your why.
Well, no, I know when most people start making good money, they start, one of the first things they spend on is self-care.
yeah.
They start getting facial and stuff like that and taking care of your skin. And
I was thinking more
working
like
out,
eating right.
healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, all of it.
Yeah,
Self-care.
because then you buy a chef or like if you,
Yeah, you
all
can
that
buy,
kind of stuff.
You can afford things.
Like
you can
nice
afford
foods,
the salad.
like
and
not the
salad
fast
dressings.
food. Yeah.
McDonald's is a lot cheaper than a salad. So,
I think
Yeah.
I would buy a car.
I mean, most people do that too. That is self-care.
Is it?
It is.
How?
Because you just bought something
Just
that you
investing
wanted.
in your mentality, investing
Yeah,
in
so
like.
Hey, if it's on your
drive
if it's on
and-
your vision board, then go for it.
It is.
I know it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, then we're gonna make calls for now. Power hours coming up in 10 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
5
Wait.
minutes. Okay.
Yep,
choice
5
is
minutes.
yours.
Let's get it done because I'm going to be making calls myself. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, guys. Well, we're going to sign off. Thanks for listening. And you guys can definitely comment, subscribe, click the bell for future notifications. If you have a topic that we have not discussed that you would like to hear, we're open to that as well.
Do it.
And we hope that
All the
you
above.
have enjoyed listening to this wonderful group of people. And my name is Casey Tudor. This is Brooke Massey, Curtis Haddock, and Jasleen
Car or car?
Kaur.
Car.
Car. You know it means princess. My last name means princess. Yeah.
Okay, you just elevated to the next level.
Peace out.